Desire is not evil by itself. In fact, desire is one of the greatest forces inside the human being. It is desire that makes a person move, it makes them dream, it makes them build, seek, create, and grow. Without desire, there would be no ambition, no progress, no goals, no future. A student studies because of desire. A person works because of desire. A creator builds because of desire, so desire itself is not the enemy. The danger begins when desire is left uncontrolled, because uncontrolled desire becomes the easiest doorway for manipulation, and this is why controlling desire is so important. The most dangerous form of control is not when someone forces your body. It is when they discover how to control what your heart wants, because once someone controls your desire, they no longer need to force you. You begin walking toward the trap by your own choice. That is why spiritual wisdom focuses so much on the heart. The Bible explains this deeply in James 1:14-15. Each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own desire and enticed. Notice the psychology of this verse. It does not say temptation begins outside, it begins inside. The chain is first formed in the heart. A person sees something, the heart wants it, the mind justifies it, the soul slowly accepts it. This is how temptation works, not through visible chains on the hands, but through invisible chains on the heart. And this is why manipulation in the modern world rarely begins with force. It begins with studying your cravings. What do you deeply want? Pleasure, validation, attention, power, love, status. Once the world learns your deepest craving, it can guide your behavior without you noticing. Social media does this, advertising does this, people do this. Even toxic relationships do this. They learn what your heart is hungry for, then they keep feeding it in small doses, just enough to keep you attached, just enough to keep you dependent. And slowly, what began as desire becomes control. The frightening part is this: you may think you are making free choices, but in reality, your desires may already be deciding for you. This is why the verse says people are dragged away by their own desire. The pulling force comes from within. The Qur'an confirms the same truth in Surah An-Nisa 4:27. Those who follow their desires wish to see you deviate entirely from Allah's way. This reveals another layer. People who are ruled by desire often want others to live the same way. Why? Because uncontrolled people feel uncomfortable around disciplined people. Self-control exposes their weakness, so they normalize distraction, they normalize addiction, they normalize chasing cravings, they make excess look attractive. Because if everyone is equally distracted, nobody feels guilty. This is why entire systems are built around feeding desire. The world profits from your impulses. The more reactive you are, the easier you are to influence. The easier you are to sell to control, to emotionally trap. That is why self-control is not just morality, it is freedom. The person who cannot control desire can be controlled by almost anything. A compliment can control them, a temptation can control them, a notification can control them, a person's approval can control them, but the one who masters desire becomes psychologically powerful, because they are no longer easily moved by what the world throws in front of them. This is where true inner strength begins. Real power is not controlling others. Real power is controlling what controls you. That is why so many spiritual traditions treat self-control as sacred, because the battle is not first outside, it is inside. The war is between the craving and the conscience, between impulse and wisdom, between temporary pleasure and lasting truth. The person who wins this battle protects more than morality. They protect their freedom. Their mind stays clear, their judgment stays sharp, their heart stays loyal to truth. Without self-control, desire slowly rewrites your priorities. First it pulls the heart, then temptation makes the wrong feel normal. Then the mind stops asking, what does God want, and starts asking only, what do I want right now? That is the beginning of spiritual slavery. The self becomes the master, and once the self becomes the master, truth becomes negotiable. That is why controlling desire is not suppression, it is protection. It protects your freedom from people. It protects your mind from manipulation. It protects your soul from drifting away from God, because the one who has mastered desire cannot easily be bought by pleasure, moved by approval, or broken by temptation. They remain centered, they remain free. And that freedom is one of the highest forms of strength. So the real reason controlling desire matters is not because desire is evil. It matters because uncontrolled desire can quietly hand your freedom to the world. But the one who disciplines the heart keeps that freedom. And the one who keeps that freedom cannot easily be controlled by anyone except the truth.